Hey, welcome to Nick's Kitchen. Today we are going to be making some grilled jalapeno poppers. So there's a lot of ways to make these, and we will talk a little bit about some of the different ways you can do it. Your most basic grilled jalapeno popper is going to be some jalapenos. You're going to clean them out. We'll go over that. Stuff it with cream cheese. Wrap it in bacon and grill it. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to do the cream cheese and I'm going to add some sharp cheddar. So when it's time to stuff our peppers, we're going to mix that in. So if you have the ingredients, you're ready to go, let's keep watching. If not, go ahead and pause and you can pick up what you need. For our beverage for today, we're going to have Moxa's Secret Stuff. So this is WeldWorks Brewing out of Greeley, Colorado. Just found it today. I've never had it before. It's a double IPA with Moxa's Secret Stuff added. So I don't know what that is. Hopefully it's not something weird. So let's get our stuff ready and get going. All right, the first thing we're gonna do is get our jalapeno peppers ready. So what I like to do, don't worry about washing them yet because we're gonna give them a rinse to get the seeds and stuff out. So you can wash them if you want, but I don't at this point because we're going to do it here in a minute. So just cut the top off. Go ahead and toss that. They make tools that go in and clean this out. I just use my same knife and just kind of work it around the edges. And that is going to get all those seeds and the stems and stuff like that out. So now you can see we've got some seeds left in there, but we'll take care of that. But most of that, kind of the inner parts of the jalapeno are gone. All right, I got some other stuff going on the sink. Don't worry about that. So you can see we've got our jalapeno that we've kind of cut most of the insides out as much as we could. Now we're going to go ahead and give it a rinse and just kind of shake it around a little bit and get all those seeds out. I'll typically kind of run my finger around the edge, and you can get some of the some more of the stuff in there out. If you've got real big parts left on the edge, you can take your knife and kind of try to clean those out a little bit better. And then that's kind of as good as I do mine. So this one will be ready to stuff now. It's worth noting while we're at this point, you'll see I'm not wearing any gloves. Some people wear gloves when they do jalapenos, and it's not a bad idea. If you're going to put a chew in or go use the restroom where you're going to be touching yourself, make sure that you wash your hands. I'm not going to go over the consequences, but just wash your hands before you rub your eyes, rub your mouth, touch your privates. I'm sure you can imagine why. But if you want, you can wear gloves while you're cleaning out your jalapenos, and then you don't have to worry about it. If you don't wear gloves, just make sure you wash your hands before touching any other parts of your body. All right, so this is a pretty small batch, but we've got all of them cleaned out. So cut the tops off, cleaned out the seeds and stuff inside, rinsed them off. Jalapenos are ready to go. This is a good time to talk about the heat level of jalapenos. You know, sometimes you get super mild jalapenos that have zero temperature to them at all. And then other times you get just these jalapenos that burn your face off when you try to eat them. Typically when you're cutting them and cleaning them out, you can kind of tell. Pretty sure these ones are going to be hot. Just from cutting them and cleaning them out, my nose is burning and running. My eyes are kind of watery. I can feel my eyes getting a little irritated. So these are going to be hot, I think. And then on that note, we talked a little bit about wearing gloves or washing your hands. So typically the hotter the pepper is, the more that kind of affects your other body parts too. So if you've got super hot jalapenos, you cut them with bare hands and wipe your nose or rub your eyes or whatever, it's going to hurt a lot more than if you had milder jalapenos and did the same thing. So that's just a kind of a note. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be a hot batch. We'll see after we cook them. All right, we are ready to make our cheese mixture that's going to go inside the jalapenos. So just toss your cream cheese in there. This is just a block of Kroger brand generic cream cheese. You can use whatever you want. I will say that the like the tub of cream cheese typically is kind of a little easier to mix than the block. You got to kind of work the block a little bit to get it down to like the paste that we want. You can use a hand mixer if you want. I just use my hands. If you're real fancy and you have like a KitchenAid processor thing, you can use that, and I'm sure it would make it even easier. Again, I'm just going to use my hands. So sprinkle a little sharp cheddar in there. This is completely up to taste. There's no recipe that I use. I just kind of mix it until the consistency seems right, and you know, use whatever you want. If you want Parmesan in there, you can use Parmesan. If you want Asiago, use that. Use whatever cheeses you want. You kind of need the cream cheese just to give it that base that you can stuff into the jalapenos. But beyond that, the choice is yours. All right, so our cheese mixture is ready. All it is cream cheese and some shredded sharp cheddar. This is where you guys have so much freedom in this recipe. I've done it before where I'll shred some chicken and put chicken in with my cheese mixture. I've also had other people's where they have gotten cocktail weenies. So what they'll do is they'll put a cocktail weenie in the jalapeno and then stuff the cheese in there. Or put a little cheese, and then the cocktail weenie, and then a little more cheese. But you could do, you know, if you want to do chorizo, would probably be pretty good, where you brown up some chorizo, mix in with your cheese. Like I said, I've done chicken. I've seen it with cocktail weenies. If you wanted to cut up some like kielbasa, kind of finer, you could do that. Brown up ground beef, whatever you guys want. So you can really do a ton of cool stuff with this recipe just by adding stuff into your cheese mixture. I don't season mine. We've got bacon, jalapenos, cheese. That's enough seasoning for me. But if you wanted to, you could put in some garlic. I'd probably stay away from garlic salt just because the bacon already has so much salt in it. But you could do garlic powder. If you think your jalapenos are going to be kind of mild, you could put some spice in here. You could do hot sauce, you could do sriracha. That's what's cool, is you can do whatever you want at this point with your cheese mixture and adding different flavors. All right, the stuffing of the jalapenos. Hopefully you guys can see this the whole time. I can see my video before I hit record, but once I hit record, I can't see what it's seeing. So hopefully you guys can see this. So I got my jalapeno. I use just a butter knife. And take your cheese spread and just kind of stuff it down in there. I may need to mix up some more cheese, which is no big deal, right? If I have to do that. If I do, I'll probably just use cream cheese. I won't mess with the sharp cheddar or anything like that. But just take each pepper and stuff them down in there, kind of as good as you can. And that's all we need to do to stuff them. Again, if you have like shredded chicken or something you wanted to put in this cheese mixture and then stuff in your peppers, that's something you could do as well. All right, time to wrap these guys up in bacon. So I'm gonna cook them on the Traeger. If you don't have a Traeger or like a wood grill or a pellet grill, no big deal. You can cook these in your oven, and they are still gonna be amazing. So for that reason, of cooking them on the Traeger, I have this Traeger like baking sheet kind of thing. So that's what I'm gonna put mine on. Whatever you use, do give it a quick spray of oil. Bacon is super fatty and oily and greasy, but it will stick if you don't give it a quick spray. So for this, we are using our Kroger brand thick cut hardwood smoked bacon. So typically I don't like thick cut bacon when I make these, just because the bacon is the thing that's going to take the longest to cook. And with thick cut, sometimes your cheese can all start to ooze out the side, and you know, your cheese will all be gone by the time the bacon cooks. So I'll typically just use a regular cut of bacon, not the thick cut. What I do is I start by covering up the end, just to kind of help some of that bacon or that cheese from oozing out. And I've actually got 2 pieces of bacon here, I think. I don't know whether it actually helps or not, but in my head it helps, so I do it. So I cover up the end to keep the cheese in as best I can, and then just kind of wrap and give it a little overlap, but not a ton. Again, if you overlap your bacon, that is going to be kind of your weak link of where it's going to take the longest to cook. So overlap it, but not a ton of overlap if you can. Sometimes if I have smaller jalapenos, I'll cut the bacon in half. This is kind of a good wrap, kind of what we're looking for. So I'm pretty happy with that. You can, at this point, do like cooking string and tie around there, or you can stick toothpicks in there. If you do toothpicks, soak them in water first. That way they don't catch on fire. But what I do is just set it just like this. I'll set it onto my pan, and as it cooks and the bacon crisps up and kind of firms up, it's going to stay in place on its own. So I don't use anything else to keep the bacon on. I just do it just like that, and that's how I'll cook it. All right, we're gonna try out the selfie stick method. So, like I said, we're gonna cook ours on a Traeger pellet grill. If not, cook it in the oven. If you don't have a Traeger, believe me, my next grill probably won't be a Traeger because they're so expensive. But that's what we're gonna use today, is a Traeger pellet grill. The pellets that we have in it right now are hickory. I'll be honest with you, I don't think it really matters. Like, I'm sure the diehards out there use what pellets they use for a special reason, but I just use regular old, whatever's on sale, whatever I can get. So I think for this we're using hickory pellets, but I can't tell a huge difference between them. So let's do our startup here, and once that warms up, we're going to go to 375, and that's what we will cook our jalapeno poppers at, is 375. All right, let's take our repaired jalapenos out and check on the grill. So the downside is it started raining, which makes it hard for the Traeger to get up to temperature. Don't make fun of my backyard. You guys aren't not allowed to make fun of it. Just ignore it. So looks like we are at 320. So not quite that 320 or 375 we wanted to get to, but that's okay because it's still going to be hot at the bottom. It's still going to kind of grill them. So we will just have to make sure that we flip them like halfway through. So let's throw these bad boys on, and we'll give them, again, I don't do recipes, so we'll probably wait about an hour, and then we'll check them out and see how they're doing. Maybe come out a little bit before that and flip them, but these things are going to cook at least an hour, and then I just go off of kind of how the bacon's doing. So we'll see in a bit. All right, quick update. So everyone else got home and I needed some grill space, so our jalapeno poppers got moved inside to the oven. So our total cook time has been like 50 minutes right now between the grill and the oven, and I think they're done.
Yum, yum.
So we'll let them rest for a little bit, and then we'll do a taste test and let you know how they came out. All right, we're just gonna do a real quick taste test because I'm super curious. I told you guys when I was cutting the jalapenos, I thought they were gonna be hot just based off of cutting them. So I'm very curious to see if they're super hot or not. Not bad. Delicious, but not super spicy. So maybe I'll do an update if I do a couple more, because there's for sure a couple spicy ones in there from when I was cutting them. So we'll see.